at Geodis Park for hosting us this morning. I'd also like to recognize District 6 Council Member Brett Withers, who is with us once again. Good morning. I think Councilman has been with us for all of our work sessions and our call meetings, so thank you for being a part of our process, and thank you for your commitment. At this time, I'd like to consider approval of the minutes from the March 28th meeting. You received the minutes from last week's meeting, and hopefully you have an opportunity to review them. They can be found in your binders behind tab 1.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and properly second. Any questions, corrections? If not, all in favor, please signify by saying aye. Opposed, there's nay, and the motion passes. One housekeeping detail: if you would decide to speak this morning, make sure to push the button on the little here, and you'll get a green go on your mic. So, housekeeping. At this time, we'll have our executive director's report from Monica Fognerson, our executive director.
Good morning, everyone. You have the agenda before you. We are going to make one brief change to the order, if you all are agreeable, and we're going to move the Geodis Park report, which is agenda item 4, down to, we're going to do that after the vote today, which I think will be helpful for some board members who've got some other things they need to get to. Everybody good with that? Okay. All right. Well, I don't have much in terms of a report because I'm doing this every week, but there are a couple of things that I just would mention. Number one, we want to congratulate former TSU Athletics Director Teresa Phillips, who was selected for induction to the Tennessee Sports Hall of Fame. I think most of us in here know her. She's been just a wonderful leader and friend of the authority, and one of our spotlights last year during the Title IX series. So we just want to congratulate her. And then also want to congratulate the Geodis Park design team. We've talked about some of the awards and recognitions that Geodis Park has received. And most recently, I think this happened maybe 2 weeks ago, they were awarded the Outstanding Engineering Project for Large Projects for 2022 by the American Society of Civil Engineers. So congratulations to you all. Any questions? Okay. That concludes my report.
Thank you so much. And I, too, would like to congratulate Coach Phillips. Coach Phillips and I were teammates at Vanderbilt, and she also was my coach for a little while. So I'm very excited that she has been inducted to the Hall of Fame, State Hall of Fame. So with that, we're going to go to the final review of the East Bank Stadium project plans and documents. We understand that some minimal changes were made before all the documents were filed with the council. So at this time, we're going to invite the Metro team to come and walk us through the revisions that we should be aware of, and also it'd be an opportunity to ask any final questions from this body. So, thank you. Yes. Mm-hmm.
Well, thank you, Chair and Executive Director and Directors. Good to be back with you again. This time is really set up to answer any final questions you all have. We were happy to walk through the black line changes that were made. A lot of this I would characterize as cleanup, administrative, and not material, but also, which I think we've circulated. But at the same time, again, this is your time. If you all would like to go through each change, we're happy to do that as well. I think we've got it pulled up on the screens as well, or we're also happy to answer any other questions about any of the exhibits or final docs or process from here.
Okay.
Yeah, I guess I'll echo what Sam said. All of the changes are ministerial in nature, ranging from correcting cross-references. You know, there's a lot of documents here. We missed a few cross-references, adding some defined terms, really cleanup items. And some of those came from council members. Some of them came from your staff. Some of them came from the team. Some of them came all just sort of cleanup items. I'm happy to walk through them. They're really changes only a lawyer could love. So again, echo what Sam said. We're here for you. If you want to walk through them, we certainly can. They are immaterial in my appropriate, but immaterial in my view. You agree with that?
Yes.
I do agree with that. Nothing in these changes affects the financial aspects of the deal or any of the responsibilities that the Sports Authority has in administering the contract.
I would appreciate just a quick overview, if you guys don't mind. This is an important project for us, and we want to be thorough. If you agree.
Yes. Yes. We don't have to spend a lot of time, but definitely maybe if you can just quickly walk us through the process changes.
So, and I'm gonna go through, and I guess I'm gonna.
Hey, Jeff, while you're pulling that up, has the resolution that's before us, has that been updated to reflect the revisions, if you will?
It is not, so there were no revisions to the resolution itself, just to the exhibits to the back of that resolution. So that resolution is still good as presented. So the development agreement itself, I'm gonna go from memory here, and Tom's got it pulled up, and he can correct me when I go astray. Defined terms were added for things like council, TSU lease, affiliate. There was a provision added to section 3.5 regarding the disbursement of the various funds to project costs that clarify that the team is sort of truly on hook for the PSL piece. And so if the PSL contribution falls short, it's the team that has to make that up. That's an addition. That really is pretty much the sum total of the changes to the development agreement.
Okay.
Let me go to the next one. The stadium lease, there were a couple of cross references that were changed. There is one change that we made that I think there was an amendment last night on the council floor that sort of followed this change along in section 6.2C of the agreement. 6.2 is the camp provision, and 6.2C says the team will undertake the work required by the camp, by the third party, referee who says, these are the projects that have to be undertaken. There was a comment, I think, back from the council meeting on the 20th, where Councilman Mendez wanted clarification that in no event would the state's reduction of funding. Let me back up. That section 6.2 goes on to say that changed circumstances could let the team follow a different schedule as it completed the work. Changed circumstances were meant to be things on the ground, conditions on the ground, nothing related to funding. Councilman Mendez sort of appropriately, I said, clarification about that, and said, so can we amend section 6.2C to make clear that changed circumstances doesn't involve any change in funding from the state or other sources. That's been added. So you'll see that in the change. That is really about it, the stadium lease, I believe. The only change to the non-relocation agreement is to sort of formally add the form of assignment and assumption so that if there were ever a successor owner, that successor owner has to assume all of the liabilities of the team under all the documents. There previously, I think it was an oversight on our part, there was an assignment and assumption agreement attached to the stadium lease, but not to the non-relocation agreement. So now a formal assignment and assumption agreement has been added as an exhibit. The team guarantee has been revised to add a representation at the end that the team is in fact the holder of the Tennessee Titans franchise. That's sort of a good appropriate change. The state funding agreement has been amended to allow the council to also approve of any amendment to that agreement. That's the only change there. And you remember that's the agreement where the state says, we're giving you $500 million. That's the gist of that one. The stadium ground lease, and again, this is, so the way this works is you are conveying the property outside the existing stadium boundaries to Metro. Metro ground is going to ground lease the new site back to you. You then are going to in turn lease it to the team. The ground lease between Metro and the authority is the stadium ground lease. It's been revised to say, probably no surprise, you guys can't assign or transfer your interest in it. I mean, that's sort of basic. I think it was implied. Now it's clear. So that's been added. Site coordination agreement. I don't think there were any significant changes at all. I think there were a couple of sort of cleanup items regarding council approval of amendments. The council or Metro is technically a party to that agreement, and so there's some language about technically how they go about approving any amendments. That was added back in the back sections. The intergovernmental agreement, really no change. There was one section that we deleted that really was a holdover from prior deals that required you on an annual basis to report to the director of finance to say, hey, here's what CapEx is looking like, because in some of those old deals, Metro would have some obligation to fund the CapEx. That's not the deal here. And so that was a bit of a ghost from deals past. We took that provision out. I think that's really the only change of any note to the intergovernmental agreement. Yeah, so, well, it's twofold thing. There's the camp tells you what has to be done, and then all of the funding is on the team with the benefit of whatever excess flow of funds fall into the capital reserve. That's right. There's one change to the amendment to the existing lease to sort of a bit of it's a little confusing, but once I explain, I think you'll get it. So, right now you have the entire campus, and one of your obligations is to provide those parking lots for the benefit of the team. You remember when we talked about the development agreement and the way bonds can be issued? The bonds can be issued, team doesn't deliver a guaranteed max price contract, deal unwinds. So we go back to the existing lease and the requirement to make those parking lots available to the team. But in the meantime, you will have conveyed those parking lots to Metros, and now Metro is going to own those parking lots. And so the change in the amendment to the existing lease is just to clarify that if Metro owns the parking lots, they got to provide parking, rather than you, or work it out with you so that it puts you back in the position. It's a cleanup item. That's what's going on there. Last one, and you'll be done with me, is the option agreement. The option agreement is the agreement that says, as to the existing stadium site, we the authority, agree that you, Metro, have the right to buy it once the existing lease is over. Councilman Mendez asked that we add a provision that clarifies that you can't encumber that site, basically gum up title, between the time that agreement's executed and the end of the existing lease. I think everybody's on board with that. So that's been added. That is, I may have missed something, but I don't think so. But I think that's the list of changes, and I'm happy to talk about any of them or answer any other questions you got.
So it appears that most of the amendment are really clarification types of amendments. Are there questions or?
Would you go back and talk about that parking again, how we swapped from us to the Metro?
Sure. So, the current lease, you've got two main obligations as the authority, if you want to think about it, is make the stadium bowl itself available to the team to play games, and make that parking lot available to them on event days for their parking. That's the deal now. So when we think about the new deal, what we're thinking about is we're going to issue bonds, and when we issue bonds, we're going to have a closing, and the closing is going to require every document that's been in front of us to be executed. And one of those documents is a quitclaim deed from this board to Metro, where everything outside the stadium itself, bounded by the 4 streets, all that property is going to be conveyed to Metro. That's the idea. And so that's the closing. The bonds are issued. The way the development agreement is set up is that bonds can be issued, but the proceeds can't be released for project costs until the team has delivered a guaranteed max price contract and come to the table with sort of proof positive of their funding. And that if on October 1, 24, that hasn't happened, the bonds get redeemed. And to the extent there's any sort of friction cost in there, the team pays it. And all the documents that were executed, bonds go away and all the documents go away, except that when we return to the existing lease, the capital expense requirements been minimized. So now we're back to the existing lease and back to your two obligations, make that stadium available for them and make that parking available for them, except that now you don't own the parking lots. Metro owns the parking lots. And so in the site coordination agreement, we're trying to square all that to just make sure that that deal returns to where it was. And so Metro, as the owner of those parking lots, would need to make them available on the same basis that you would be making them available under the current lease. That's all that's going on there. So no substantive change, just trying to recognize that we've got this technical change of ownership and that the lease between you and the team doesn't, we've got to fix it so that Metro is sort of brought into it for that one single purpose.
And to be clear, that is not the desired outcome, right? That is if the deal blows up, how do you remedy and come back to the current deal, right?
And I would say the way the development agreement, to echo what Sam's saying, section 3.3 of the development agreement is set up so that an unwind is highly unlikely. You're not going to issue bonds until, if you read through those list of conditions, there's a lot of stuff about diligence of their financial ability to perform, diligence about the project being teed up in a way so that we all expect a GMP, guaranteed max price contract, to be delivered on time. We will have checked every box we can check. And so an unwind will be completely unexpected and should be highly unlikely.
Do you think that process is in the interest of all parties concerned with parking?
Well, it's intended to bring the deal back to where we've all agreed that it would be. If we don't do that, you've got a disconnect between a lease and a deal where we say, okay, if we go back to the existing deal, you still get parking on event days, but now you don't have the fee title to those parking lots, and you can't technically do that unless Metro, as the fee owner, has a provision like has been added to make clear that they've got to participate and cooperate so that you can do what you're supposed to do. So yeah, I think it is.
Any additional questions?
Yes. I would like for you to emphatically state that when the deal is done, the sports authority will own the stadium.
The existing stadium or the
New stadium.
the new stadium, you will have a ground lease and I'm looking at Tom. Tom's a much better real estate lawyer than I am. You will be the lessee on a ground lease. Metro will own the site, the new stadium site. They will ground lease that site to you, the authority. You will in turn lease. The stadium will be constructed on that site, and you will lease the site and the stadium to the team.
I think your question is what happens when the bonds are paid off? Who owns the new stadium?
Yes.
As long as the stadium lease really doesn't have anything to do with bonds, it has to do with the lease itself, the stadium lease itself. So that structure I described, Metro, Sports Authority, team, will be in place as long as the team is occupying that stadium under some sort of leasehold interest. If that ever ceases to be the case, then I think the expectation is that stadium could revert to Metro.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Great. Any other questions?
I have a comment,
Yes.
if I may. Yesterday, I spoke to Tom, Jeff, and this morning got a summary from Sam. And that was in reference to the BWE participation on the project. And my interest was how the Sports Authority could have a consultant to represent the Sports Authority. And Sam gave me a brief summary this morning. And Sam, if you don't mind, I would like for you to comment on that.
Sure. The question that we received from Director Gill was around what assurances does the Sports Authority have that the Titans are performing on the DVE requirements or expectations and goals set forth in the documents? Under this agreement, you all have the right to hire your own construction representative to do the project monitoring. And so the construct we came up with is, as a part of that process, you could add to their scope of work this type of monitoring that would work in parallel and in collaboration with the Titans team as they're building the new stadium to make sure the goals are upheld and met, and that you all receive regular independent third-party reports. And so that would be paid out of the project budget, and it would be it would be either performed by the construction rep themselves if they have that capability, or a sub under the construction rep.
Thank you.
So Director Gill, we will note your concern, and when we take those conversations up in the future, we'll make sure that they're a part of the conversations. Yes.
Shannon, I need to move closer to it. I'm going to go back to Director Gill's previous question about who would own the stadium. It wasn't clear to me in the explanation that you gave who will own the stadium. You gave something at the end. You said revert back to Metro. Does Metro or the Sports Authority not own the facility, and it is leased to the team, and the team has, like you would lease any other property?
Yeah. So, the concept here, and I'm going to draw an analogy here in just a second to an existing deal. The concept here is that the entire let me back up. You own the current campus, 95 acres. The Sports Authority does, and there is the existing site or the existing stadium that's sort of surrounded by the four roads. This resolution and these documents contemplate that everything outside of that square the property would be conveyed to Metro. So the new stadium site is within that property that's been conveyed to Metro. So then to do the new deal, you've got to get back in the chain of title. And so Metro would turn around and ground lease the new stadium site back to this authority, who would then in turn lease it to the team. I think that's exactly what's going on the site we sit on. Metro owns this property. It's a ground lease to the Sports Authority, and then you in turn lease the stadium to Nashville SC. It's exactly that structure. The only difference is you sort of came to this party. Metro already owned it. You showed up, where this one, Metro purchased the property back in 1996, 97, conveyed it to you, and now you're conveying it back to them. But when the dust settles, it looks just like this, Steve. Does that make sense?
Yes, but either Metro or the Sports Authority owns the land,
That's
correct?
right.
In
Yes.
either scenario.
That's right.
And if the stadium is built on that land, then Metro or the Sports Authority would own that facility on that land. The Titans or the team does not own that facility.
That's exactly right.
Okay.
Yeah, and I'm sorry if I didn't make that clear.
That's the clarification
No.
I was.
Yeah, you own it.
Okay.
You Metro Sports Authority own it.
All right.
That's right. Sorry.
I think some of the confusion, very clear answer, and so I'm belaboring the point at this point, but to belabor it a little further, the documents, we didn't spend a whole lot of time conceptualizing building a new stadium where the Titans weren't leasing it, right? And so Jeff's structure on how the lease works is when there is an NFL team playing their football games there. If that ever goes away or the team moves or for whatever reason they're not there, that is when, what Jeff was saying, when that would revert back to Metro, because the Sports Authority if we don't have an NFL team playing in an NFL stadium, there's no real point of having the Sports Authority own that. So that's when it would revert back to Metro.
Thank you. Additional questions? It's amazing how much clearer that was the third time around, right? We all got it, right? Good question. Any other questions or comments? If not, I'd like to thank Sam, Tom, and Jeff, Director Flannery, for the time that you put into helping us to be comfortable with the documents and have a good understanding. I think the process has been great because we have a very important decision to make. And so at this time, if there are no further questions, I would like to entertain a motion to approve the resolution authorizing the execution and agreements with the Metropolitan Government of Nashville and Davidson County, Tennessee Football LLC and affiliates thereof, the State of Tennessee and Tennessee Board of Regents, Tennessee State University and/or certain other parties relating to the development, funding, use, and operation of a new enclosed stadium, the deposition of land related thereto, the development of certain areas around the new stadium, and the continued use of the existing stadium.
Madam Chair, move to approve the resolution.
Second. It's been moved and properly seconded. Any discussion? If not, all in favor of moving forward, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposers, nay. The motion passes. Thank you all. Back to our agenda. At this time, we'll hear from the Geodis Park report. We have Lindsay Paula, Chief of Staff of Nashville SE, and CEO Ian Ayer will give us the Nashville SE Geodis Park report. It looks like you're solo.
I am. Good morning. Sorry, Ian is, there's some Major League Soccer meetings happening in California, so he is off there, and you're stuck with me.
No problem.
I'm Lindsay Paola. I'm the Chief of Staff here at Nashville Soccer Club and Geodis Park. Andy, if you want to advance the slide. A little hard to see, but I thought I'd talk a little bit about our season. So we are back in the Eastern Conference. So we've traveled about 80,000 miles last year in the Western Conference. Very happy to be back in the East. It's a lot easier for our staff and our players. We had a huge win Saturday night against Orlando, 3 points on the road. Very exciting. So our current record is 3 wins, 1 draw, 2 losses. And we've had 4 shutouts in the 6 matches we've played so far. We've only conceded 2 goals, which is the fewest in Major League Soccer. You can see some photos here that I've included. The upper left-hand corner is from our game against NYCFC. It was our home opener. We won. It was a big game for us and a great way to kick off the season. Lower left-hand corner, unfortunately, is our loss against our big rival, Cincinnati. We do play them again later this season, so the hope is that we will beat them at their home venue. Right now, we're tied for 4th on the table. You can see that up there with Columbus. Most importantly, we have a new team member. He has 4 legs. His name is Cash. I tried to get him down here, but he is busy napping. He is a service dog in training, and he'll be with one of our staff members for the next 14 to 16 months. And it's a partnership with America's Vet Dog. So once his training is done, he'll be turned over to a veteran in need of a service dog. Next slide. I want to talk a little bit about the last year. So May 1st marks our 1-year anniversary of operating Geodis Park. And in that year, we've had 23,000 plus season ticket members, which is more than most Major League Soccer stadiums can actually hold. We've averaged 28,000 fans in our games last season and so far this season. And we're top 4 in Major League ticket sales. And you can see that we're behind Atlanta, Charlotte, and Seattle, all of whom play in NFL stadiums. I also included a chart which shows the top counties and cities, and you can sort of see that Davidson County is where most of our fans are coming from. So they're staying within this community and attending our games. We also had a big debut of our Man in Black jersey, which is a collaboration with the Johnny Cash estate. Great way for us to tie music and soccer. So Music City in Geodis Park. And all in all, this year has been a huge success for us. And I thought I would read one of the quotes from Alex Morgan, who is a U.S. women's national team player. And she played at the She Believes Cup here in Nashville in February. And she said, "We've been here in Nashville a couple of times, and obviously playing in a soccer-specific stadium is the best case scenario. Having 25,000 fans like this where the crowd is energetic and it's fun, the pitch is perfect. It was actually a great game for us." I think that really illustrates how great this venue is. On this slide, I wanted to highlight 2 community-related elements here at Geodis Park. We actually have an art gallery on our suite level. It's themed Nashville in Rhythm. It's the second year. It's a partnership with the Business Council of Greater Nashville and includes 62 works by 51 Middle Tennessee artists. So the works are all for sale, and all the proceeds obviously go back to the artists. We also, if you've attended a game or an event here at Geodis Park, know that we have lots of local establishments from Prince's Hot Chicken, Daddy's Dogs, Bearded Iris, Disc and Cider, etc. So it's a great way for us to highlight local eateries and whatnot in our stadium for the fans that come from within Davidson County, but also from the fans living outside of the Davidson County area. That ties into my next slide. So we are not just a Major League Soccer venue. We have Leagues Cup coming up in July and August, which is with Mexico's La Liga, which will bring in a whole new segment of fans here at Geodis Park. We're excited about that. We've also announced that we have 3 concerts this year: Shania Twain in June, Guns N' Roses in August, and Pink in September. And what we've seen from the Shania Twain and Pink concerts is that the fans, or the folks who bought those tickets, are mostly people who have never been to Geodis Park before. So this is a great opportunity for us to highlight this venue to a different group of fans. We also have a lot of non-soccer programming coming up. We haven't announced it yet, but we will have a 5K run, and we're working on a summer festival that's family focused. So all in all, the last year has been fantastic for us. We're really proud of everything we've done and everything we've got coming forward. And that, I'll end my presentation.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you, Lindsay. Any questions for Lindsay? Looks like there's a lot going on. Some really exciting
Yes.
non-soccer events. So
Yeah, we're pretty excited.
yeah.
Thank you.
Good luck. So again, at this time, I'd like to thank everyone who helped to get us to this point. The board put in some hard work, the staff. Yes,
Chair, Burke Nihill would like to.
Oh, sorry, Bert. Yes.
I've said a lot of these things over the last few months and years, but I believe them stronger today than I ever had. I think the story of the stadium and finding a path forward has been a big one in Nashville over the last year or so. But I know that for this board and for our organization, it's been a much longer journey than that. And I really believe that this is the best of Nashville and Tennessee, collaborating, finding a better way forward. And this was hard. We've had conversations for years about finding that better path forward. And I so appreciate the investment by this organization in collaborating and listening and trying to find that better path for Nashville. And I believe in all of my heart that this is so much more than a stadium solution, that there's a real opportunity for something very special to happen on the East Bank that generations and generations of Nashvillians will use and appreciate. But it's because of the hard work of this board to engage and invest that we've arrived at this moment today. And I know there's still work ahead to make this a reality, but I would just be remiss without saying once again, thank you so much for everything that you all have done to dig in and to listen and to challenge and to make this potential transaction better. It's really been humbling, the attention that you've provided to it. And so on behalf of the Titans, Amy Adams-Strunk, our entire organization, thank you.
Thank you, Bert. And I will yes.
If I may, if I have any time left, I'd like to yield to Bert to continue.
That was inside. Okay. Burke, we too, as a board, we would like to just say thank you to the Titans for your approach to working with us, to your willingness to sit down and to help us find common ground. Every day, this board works very hard to represent the citizens of Nashville and to make sure that we make informed decisions that work to the benefit of those that we represent. So thank you all. And again, I'll thank this board. A lot of work, but I think there's no light at the end of the tunnel, but we live to fight another day. So I
Excuse
don't.
me, Madam Chair.
Yes.
You know, I'll be remiss if we didn't take this opportunity to thank you in real time for your leadership as well, for governing us through this process. It's been a pleasure. Thank you for your patience, your temperance in this process. And I just want to express some gratitude.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So with that being said, my thank yous. Monica, you and your team, thank you so much. You all have been great. The mayor's office, Metro Finance, and Metro Legal, been there at every turn. One-on-ones were great. And Finance Director Flannery, I think she left, but we thank her for her contributions. Authorities will still need to prove the bond resolution, but that will come a little later. Metro Council will act on the East Bank Stadium resolution tonight. I believe their meeting begins at 6:30. I think it's 6:30. So with that, if we have any facility questions, we would take those at this time for any of our partners. If not, this concludes today's meeting. And we'd like to thank Nashville SC and Geodis Park for hosting us. Our next meeting is scheduled for Thursday, May 18th at First Horizon Park. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Consider yourselves adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you.
This has been a service of the Metro Nashville Network. If you would like to see this presentation again, or for more information on this and other programs, visit nashville.gov.